Hey, Marvin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Well,
Good,
first,
good.
go ahead.
Apologize. I just got the invitation. I was like, man, let me jump right on. But
Oh,
it's a great time. And I'm happy to be a part of this.
well, first, congratulations for getting one of the highest scores for the Greater 901 in your race. And
Wow.
let me preface this by saying that I know that you're working with CASA. So Brian Stevens, who's a co-founder of this with me, is not involved, nor was he involved in anything that had to do with your race. So you earned it on your own.
Thank you. They're a great help. Brian's an awesome person. Enjoy what he does, but yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, grinding it out. But it's been good. We had a lot of wind behind ourselves and feeling good about things.
Well, great. We're going to get to you being a grinder here in a second, but why don't you tell folks who may not know you in District 2 yet a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you. Again, Marvin White. I'm a native Memphian, husband of 25 years next year to a lovely woman, lifelong educator, Dr. Corey White, and we have two children. Uh, uh, I am the president of Memphis Rebounders, which is the booster club for the University of Memphis men's basketball team. So I work well with and a lot with Coach Hardaway and the team to help them raise some money and awareness for University of Memphis men's basketball. I'm a 25-year FedEx employee. I work in the customer experience space. We launch global projects around telephony. So we got a lot of technology and marketing background. And I also run a small marketing firm. And I'm also serve on Leadership Memphis Board of Directors as the Alumni Engagement Chair. So I'm multi-hyphenated and multifaceted. And it's important, that's why I'm out here running for Memphis City Council
Well,
in
well
all
that
of my endeavors.
well that
That's
yeah
what I
that
look forward to doing.
well that leads me to my very next question. You are a busy man about town. Those that um, know you from your work with the university or at FedEx or some of the other things that you do with Leadership Memphis, know how busy you are. Why in the world would you want to join the Memphis City Council?
That's a great question. The cool part about it is this is the first time, right? This is I ran in 2019
Mhm.
and ran against a two-term incumbent. We didn't pull out the victory, but we made a great name. Um, Pulling out 31% in that district was something we could be proud of and a good benchmark for this time. And honestly, I'm here to finish the job. And really, the easy answer to why I want to be a part of the council is we need a good working Memphis. There are a lot of things broken with our city. Everyone sees it. So many people talk about it these days. And I'm committed to my hometown. I want to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. It's easy to complain. And it's a little bit harder to do something about it. And again, being busy about it, it's not just being busy, but I'm being meaningful. And that's really what I want to try to do is leave an impact. I've made a lot of great inroads with a lot of good people, and I want to try to use that network and influence to do good by the city of Memphis.
Now,
You
you,
know, um,
you may not remember this, but I do. It was my brother's first campaign, Chase Carlisle, and I was out there at the polls holding signs. And sure enough, I was standing next to Miss Colvette, and you approached and said, "Hey, I'm going to talk him to get my vote." And you were hustling for votes right then and there. You weren't shy about it. You were introducing yourself to everyone. It was and I said, "Who in the world is that called Chase?" I said, "I don't know. If Marvin keeps talking to Frank's wife, she may vote for Marvin."
yeah, it's about having courage, but I thought it was important to really just get my name out there at that time. And that's what it takes to be a part of the council is to have courage. You're gonna have to talk to people that may not look like you, may not think like you, and convince them that you're the right person to represent them on Memphis City Council. So that hadn't changed. Matter of fact, it's more of the same for me is really trying to bridge gaps, and that's one of my personality traits that I love to try to exploit.
Well, one of our goals at the Greater 901 is to back and help those that have the courage and the wherewithal, the knowledge, the skills to run that otherwise wouldn't run. Right? I mean, trust me, should you get elected, I won't say quite thankless. There's a lot of good you can do, but it comes at a steep price, and that you sacrifice a lot, and you have to put yourself out there. So I applaud you for running. I know that that's not an easy choice to make, and it's something that you feel very passionate about, given that you've run before. If
Yes.
elected, first 100 days, 6 months, what would be one of the top things you'd want to see get done?
I said it pretty clearly since I've been running is we have to put our city back on the right path when it comes to crime and safety. The first thing that I would do is try to either partner with or gain as much support as I can to first, let's roll back the preemptive stops ordinance for the Memphis City Police Department. We have to give them back their muscle. And I've heard from Memphis police officers as well as the Memphis Police Association about how difficult it is to do their job these days. And when you hear about all of the tragic situations going on in our city around crime, I don't think there's any way I can look at anything other than trying to give our police back not only their power, but their pride in the department. So that would be the first thing that I would sign my name up on or sponsor to try to get that done. The Memphis Police Association have given me their endorsement, as well as the Memphis Firefighters Association. And I take that as a badge of honor, and I intend to run with that ball. But it's important for our citizens. Just last night is a shooting inside of FedExForum, and that's ridiculous. And we have to get some people involved that are going to work together and not just scream and yell on the fringes, but be able to sit down at the table and get some things done to make things happen in the city. It may be thankless, but if I can wake up and know that my family and your family is a little bit safer every day, I'm willing to take that risk.
I appreciate that. And, it's not lost to me that the Memphis Police and Fire Associations endorsed you in a very crowded race that also has a former city councilman running, and someone that works on Mayor Harris's administration. So there's plenty of competition for that endorsement, and I think that was good reason that they chose you. Speaking of FedExForum, going off the cuff here a little bit, there's a lot of debate, and maybe Mayor Strickland will resolve this before the next council, perhaps not. But how do you see splitting funding between the FedExForum, where the Memphis Tigers play, and Liberty Bowl, where the Memphis football team plays? I mean, is that a Gordian knot that can't be untied? How do you make sense of it?
Well, it's interesting because I am the president of the Memphis Rebounds. I spend a lot of time down at FedExForum.
Yes, you do.
And I'm very fond of the stadium. However, I do realize the value of both facilities. Simmons Liberty Bank Stadium is a jewel in the city. It sits right in the center of the city. It draws thousands of people every week that the University of Memphis men's football team plays, but also brings in the Liberty Bowl, as well as other exhibition style games like the Southern Heritage Classic, which is going on this weekend. So it's a big economic boom for the city, both of those facilities. There's something we're going to have to do to really kind of divvy up that money. The Grizzlies are a private entity. They're doing well financially. There are some upgrades that building needs to have just to be able to compete with the other facilities across the nation similar to that. But we're talking also comparing that to a stadium that's extremely old. There's some things you can do and others you can't. But that money is something we're gonna have to sit down and really kind of figure out what's the right balance. I think it's important for the University of Memphis. in order terms to try to make themselves more attractive, get into a larger conference, which brings more revenue in, which brings more revenue into the city, which is again another way to raise our base up for revenue, but also an opportunity for us to attract new tourists. I tell people all the time, tourists pay for retail; they don't get discounts. So those are the way to boost up our businesses in the area. So I don't have the full answer for that, but I think it's something we can sit down and work out together, and then just see what the economic return is. I think that's the most important part. As an investment in both of those facilities, we got to understand what the return is, and then find a way to hold either one of or both of those entities accountable for that return.
You know, Marvin, people ask me how you do that, and that's why I call it sort of a Gordian knot. It's all tied up. But the easiest way to do is have a seed that's thriving and growing, so you don't have to make the choice in the beginning, right?
That's right.
If the pie is only so big, it's hard to divvy it up when you have really noble causes, and you could throw a number of other civic initiatives into that bucket too. When people say, "Hey, why invest in sports at all?" I don't want to give that argument today. But I do want to talk about what's your plan to grow the city, to make a stronger Black middle class. You know, the city's 70% Black. There's no way the city grows without a stronger Black middle class. You're in the business field. You do a lot also outside of the business field. How would you bring that to help the city government foster economic development?
That's a great question. You know, my mantra is, we need a safer, smarter, and stronger Memphis. And a part of that is first, you got to start with the safety. Memphis has to be easy to buy and easy to sell. And right now, the toughest sell is to get beyond our safety issue, or at least the perception of our safety issue. Memphis's crimes are not unique to Memphis. However, I think per capita, we're struggling in that space. So the first thing we have to do is fix the safety issue and then the perception around that. But specifically to businesses, we got to make sure that it's attractive and easy to do business with. Being on the council would allow us to really kind of galvanize and make that process more attractive. I think of the Grand Hyatt situation where, $5 million made or broke a deal where we could have had a huge new business in Memphis, make it more attractive to be in Memphis, and we couldn't get past $5 million. It's like, listen, guys, we can overcome that. That's not enough. That's not enough to hold back a great new business entity. So it's important for me to kind of work together to bring those businesses in. We got to look at the pilot structure program, make sure that it's being equitable both to the city and to the businesses. And again, having that measuring stick to make sure we're getting the return on an investment. But also kind of working with our tourism industry. We got to make it attractive. Not only do people want to live and work in the city, you got to make it fun. In order to have all of that, you got to make it safe. So it's really about looking at it at a holistic point of view and partnering up with our corporations that are here, making sure that everybody's doing their fair share, but also making it easier for businesses to come in. We need businesses because it brings jobs that, like you said, bolsters that economic impact for the middle class in Memphis. And you're right, we've got to also help those Black businesses with contracts, help them with their ability to work in those spaces as subs and primes, and really kind of help, build that base up. I think the strength behind that is in the research, is behind it as well, that a strong Black middle class lifts all ships here in the city.
There's no question.
We got to have that.
Yeah, there's no question about that at all. All right, Marvin, I've been ending most of these interviews with this question. How much did you pay to get on the Greater 901 ballot or endorsement?
I paid a whopping $0.
$0. We just want to make sure that everyone knows that you earned it through our committee selection process. And if people like what they hear from you, where do they go to contribute to your campaign?
Thank you. Just go to votemarvinwhite.com You can find all of my information about there, all the positions I stand on, and find a way to easily support me. I'm easy to do business with.
There you go. Marvin, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Chance.